Hello and welcome to Universal Love Law. My name is Maisha and I'm very excited to bring forth this information today. So, the conversation that I'm going to talk about right now is a little bit touchy, and so it's not really for children's minds. And it can be taken as absolute entertainment. This is my beliefs, and this is what I feel and what resonates as truth for me. So I am going to attempt to explain how to look at a very interesting experience, career, choice, decision, experience. I just said that. Topic, which is prostitution and spirituality. And so ultimately what it means to be, to sell your body for something in return. It can be for many things. It can be fueling an addiction. It can be many things, but prostitution is something that a lot of people do, not just women, but men have done it as also too. So I really want to break down this on a spiritual level from a higher dimensional perspective, where there is no right and wrong, good or bad. There's only choices. There's only learning experiences, right? There's things that may bring forth karma. There's things that may bring forth enlightenment through dark experiences. So when a person does a sexual favor, so this is something where it's sharing your vessel, or you're giving, you're stimulating another person, providing that service to another person and for something in return. The reason why a lot of people say that it's like you're selling yourself and all of those things, or you're putting a price on yourself, on your body, right? And ultimately that is technically what a person is doing, but that's logical. When we're talking about metaphysical, which meta means beyond, okay? Meta, so beyond physicality. When we're talking about a higher dimension of understanding why this is negative, or more on the negative end of the spectrum, is because it goes against the principality that our body is our temple, which is something that is more so universal. So what we do to it, what we allow our bodies to be exposed to, and what we open our vessel up to, we're ultimately exposing our soul. We're giving a piece of ourselves on that level, which everything's temporary. Nothing's forever except for existence, which is immortal, right? Us beings, our souls are immortal. But when it comes to prostitution on a spiritual level, what is happening is a person is going against that principality, where we must respect our temple, and it's tricky because we're living in the times, right? These are the days of the times where we see the signs of the times, where it's popular, it's glorified, it's actually manipulated, where let's look at it on a 3D level, right? So on a 3D level, on a lower vibrational level, on a physical level, on a logical level, on a practical level, what a person is doing is they're initially, they're utilizing their body to do favors for something in return. And so that goes into opening doors into attraction, right? You're attracting when whatever we put our mind on grows. And that will lead me into a quick story time about a dream that I had. And I feel like I have to start sharing these experiences because I'm getting pulled to start my start to really go into astrology and spirituality really seriously, because it's really called on me. I need to get these off of my mind. So let's jump into this quick story time. So I was having a dream. I have the gift of dreams. I have Saturn in the 12th house in Aquarius. So the dream world is extremely real to me, meaning Saturn, represents that reality, that structure, that physicality. So dreams feel real, and dreams have actually been real. So I'll share a few stories that pertain to whatever topic it is that I'm discussing today. In that video. So when it comes to me in the dream, I have a coworker that I really respect. I wonder if she would watch this video. Probably not. But she is very spiritual too. I feel it in her aura, and I believe it's in her lineage too. And so I always have dreams about her for some reason that are extremely spiritual. So basically what happened is I was going to meet with her, but for some reason I went and I bumped into her mom. And so her mom was like, oh, they're out here talking about my coworker and their dad. So we took a walk out to the back porch, and there were a bunch of plants or pots everywhere. There were a bunch of pots that had plants in them. And there were some that were growing. They were sprouted out of the dirt, and there were some that were fully grown plants, right? And they were beautiful. She took me out to this deck, and I was like, wow, it's beautiful out here. It's like a Garden of Eden, right? And so she handed me she said, you want to plant your own? And I was like, yeah. And then she handed me a pair of eyeballs, and I was like, what is this? I was like, what is this? And I was like, okay, because it's a dream, and I knew it was a dream, so I wanted to stay in the dream space. And I was like, okay, thank you. I took them, and then she told me to plant them. And then she told me to water the eyes. And she said, whatever you pay attention to, focus on, or look for, or seek will grow. And this was actually an initiation for me, because it was a part of my lifetime where I was transitioning into a new chapter, and I was going to experience a tower moment. I surely did after that. Actually, my whole life kind of turned upside down, and then many blessings flooded in. I may explain that in the future too. But the dream was so amazing for me on a spiritual level, because I want to do a picture of what I seen in the dream as well. I'm an artist, so I want to paint what I saw in the dream so I can give it to the world, so that the world can take whatever is in that message. And so, but that dream is very prominent to the topic today, because whatever we are putting our eyes on, wherever we're putting our attention towards, it will grow, it will fester, and we will attract like. So this goes into, so remember, when it comes to spirituality, the reason why prostitution is an experience on the more negative side is because it goes against the principality of our bodies being our temples. So we have to watch who we reveal our soul essence to, because time is not linear in the spirit realm, in the metaphysical realms, in the higher dimensions. Time is not linear there. So what happens is, we can bind ourselves to people. We can bind ourselves to reincarnations, many, many earth lifetimes, where we're not on an ascension path, when we're experiencing these more lower negative experiences, especially when we're opening our souls to bondage with other people. So when people, and that's why I say it's the sign of the times where people are glorifying it in songs, basically exchanging sexual favor for money, And this is just common, right? So it's not for us to be just so hung over being conspiracy theorists, like, the music industries, they're, manipulating the kids. Ultimately, we all have free will. And so awareness is what will counteract and defeat all evil. So when it comes to prostitution in the spiritual realm, what happens is we bind ourselves to people. We bind ourselves to karmic debt. We bind ourselves to needing to experience something, because what happens when those experiences are happening? You're exchanging your energy. And so it's really important for one who may have done that in the past, to really do some inner healing work, meaning forgiving self, getting some understanding. And also, if one ever would have done that, to heal themselves, where they might not have to experience as many experiences. It really depends on the way a person is going about that lifestyle of prostitution, because when a person is going about that lifestyle as the way the signs of the times are now in this era, then it will be like many relationships. Like, people have casual relationships and casual intercourse all the time now, and it's the sexual energy on the earth, the planet, has risen. The frequency has risen, and it's risen into a uncanny level, a more malevolent level, one that has reactions, and one that has a need for, or a learning experience, or it can really affect the emotional body as well. So when we open up ourselves, not only, one opens their self up in prostitution. Not saying that's something that I do at all. Of course, I am just getting the download, so I have to explain it, not judging anyone as well who has. Hopefully this video can reach someone and help them or enlighten them. But once a person is having that spiritual encounter, they're creating a binding, they're creating an experience where they affect their emotional body when they disregard it, because your emotional body is different than your physical body. The emotional body is so powerful. Empathics are very in tune with their emotional bodies. Empaths, that's why they cry when other people cry and things, because they're very sensitive to the vibrational frequency that the emotional body exists, the plane, the level, the feel, the dimension in which our emotional body exists, right? We show our emotional body through our feelings, right? Or when we express the emotional body, but the emotional body is powerful. When I tell you it's so powerful in the higher realms, it's like imagine stepping into a place where it's just tears of all kinds, tears of joy, tears of sorrow, tears of regret, tears of guilt. So the emotional body stores all human experiences, lifetime after lifetime. That's why we go through the veil of forgetfulness, so that we can cope with living as a human being with this life. Because one who has understanding of, or one who may have like schizophrenia or like some mental illnesses where they're tapped into the other realms, they can become a little bit crazy, like in the mind. They can lose their mind, like going crazy, right? And so the emotional body is very powerful. It's very intense, and that's why we're not living in it at all times. We have it, we're tapped into it, we activate it all the time, right? Things make us feel happy, where that's an aspect of our emotional body. But when we look at it as a whole, what we do in our lifetimes can get us geared off of our path. So a person that is dealing in a lifetime where they're experiencing selling of their body, their temple, what they can create is emotional baggage that literally carries on for lifetimes. So especially think about medieval times. Like, prostitution has been around for eons. I wouldn't be surprised if someone was like, a lot of us were actual prostitutes in a long time ago. Not just medieval times, but in all civilizations, from the Egyptians, every civilization, every group of people had that, because those brothels or those sex houses and things like that, where you can pay for a sexual experience. Now, sex is also used as a spiritual healing method as well. Like, in ancient civilizations, it was matriarchy times, where the matriarch and patriarch, right? The difference between the two. The matriarch, where women were like praised and they were worshipped and they were appreciated and they were sacred, and women were looked at as one who could have, if you have a sexual encounter with a woman in those times, it would like heal a person, or it would give them riches, or it will make them lucky, like all those things, right? Old, fashions, different times, different eras. So when we think about reincarnations in past lives, many people may have been prostitutes, and some may have been high priestess ones too, that were doing it on a spiritual level. That is a sacred knowledge that one who does not understand, of course they would judge it. A lot of people fear what they don't understand, and they write it off with no ability to intellectually describe why they're writing it off, or why they say it's just evil. That's why, like I say, this video will be from a perspective of a little bit of a higher dimension than the third and fourth. This is coming from a higher vibrational frequency, where there is no good and bad. There's choices, there's experiences, there's karma, there's life lessons, there's review, there's choices. Some of us have written in our book to experience that. Some of us go down the wrong path and lose our way on the spiritual path. But that's what life is all about. So I hope this video has been helpful. I know it's a really interesting topic to some of those. Let me know what you think in the comments below. All right, peace.